You ever had trouble with the factory automatic hubs that Ford put on these trucks back in the early 90s? As far as I'm concerned, they're junk, and I think a lot of people share my opinion on that. They're known for braking being weaker, and also after time they hang up, don't fully engage, don't fully disengage. On my green and white truck, I had the left front one did not want to fully disengage, I guess you would call it. And one day I was going about 30 miles an hour, and all of a sudden, bang, like the whole front end was coming off the truck. And right then it was decided that I was going to put some aftermarket manual locking hubs on. And I put worn hubs on that. Well, this truck, the flareside, a couple of days ago I went to drive it to work, and as I was driving down the road I heard this ratcheting sound coming off of the left front wheel. And I couldn't make it stop. And one other problem I had was the 4x4 switch, the push button switch, which I hate. I wish it had a manual lever instead of the push button, but that's the way the truck is. I also wish it had a manual transmission. But anyway, that switch, the guy who had it before me, his brother, the bezel around the dash, he super glued a part of that dash. It needed to be super glued to be held in. And which, you know, that's fine. It was broke behind there. I did the same thing when I put it back together. You couldn't tell. And I had to take it back apart, and I used a little better, used some epoxy this time to hold a new switch in place, which those switches even used are about $30 from a pull your own parts store or salvage yard. Anyway, so I couldn't put it in four-wheel drive and then take it out, try to get it to snap out of it. I tried going forward, backwards. You know, I live out in the country, so I was going about 30 miles an hour backwards for about a quarter mile. That didn't work. Forward, backward. You know, turning the steering wheel left, right, and nothing would make it stop. So it was going to be a crappy weather day. I didn't want to take my green truck out real bad because I didn't know what kind of storms we were going to have. And so I brought it home, and I ended up taking my Tahoe to work, which that's whatever, that's fine. So I decided I'm not going to try to take those automatic hubs off and clean them all up and re-grease them and try to get them to work again. I don't want to mess with them. I'd rather have a hub that, yeah, you have to get out of your truck, manually turn the little dial, but you know 100% for sure that hub is locked in when you do that. The automatic hubs, you don't have a fucking clue. It could be, it might be, it might not. You don't know until you need it. And that's not the time you want to find out that it's not working. So what we're going to be doing today, I went and picked up, these are mile marker manual hubs. Part number, you can see on the back of there, part number 302. I got these from Advance Auto. I believe they were $64, something like that. And from what I have read, the internal workings are almost identical to the worn hubs. Worn brand hubs, not as in worn out hubs. But this is what you get. I'm gonna get it out of the little bag here. You get two of them in a box, of course. And this is your hub right here. And it's got a wave spring inside there. You can see it that right there. So when you turn your manual lever out here, it pushes that in, which pushes this part of your hub in, and it engages your four-wheel drive. That's a brief explanation on how it works. So anyway, that's what we're going to be installing today. Now there's two different ways, two different versions. I shouldn't even say two different versions. It depends on what year of F-150 you have. get you down off the tripod here. If you have, like I have, if you have the 5-bolt cap, you do not need to get what they call their quote-unquote conversion kit. You do not need that if you have the 5-bolt. If you have the one that's got three of these Torx bolts, then you need the conversion kit. Now, from what I have read, I wouldn't get the conversion kit. It's rather expensive, I think. And all it consists of is basically an axle lock nut and a couple of washers, I think. And you can buy those separately. I don't have the part numbers. I'm sure you can look them up, find them in a forum somewhere. Real easy, because I've seen it talked about. And it's cheaper to just go buy them separately than it is to buy Warn or Mile Marker's kit that is another $30, $40, I think, something like that. So if you have the manual hubs, or the automatic hubs that have the 5 Torx on them, you don't need anything except for that kit right there. Everything that comes in that box is all you're gonna need. If you have the one that comes with 3 of these, which I believe is 1995, 96, because I think 94 and earlier had 5, and then I think in 95 they changed it to 3. Now I'm not 100% sure on that, but I believe so. But if you have the one that has 3, you're gonna need that kit or what comes in that kit. If you got 5, all you need is this box. There is this kit right here. Either Mile Marker or Warn, pretty much the same thing. Now these are going to come, your new cap is going to have 6 of those Torx screws. They even give you a little Allen wrench in there. I guess they're Allen, no they are Torx. The Allen head or Torx? No, they're Allen head. Anyway, so each one's going to have 6, and so you'll get those. Get 2 of those. Get 2 of these big outside retaining rings. There's a damn cat in here. Anyway, and 2 snap rings. And that's all that's in this. And I will show you how all of this goes together momentarily. But first, I gotta get a cat out of here. Yeah, get out of here, kitty. Come on, fucker. Anyway, let me get set up and I'll show you how to do this. What I want to do, what I think you should do is you don't have to, but I would jack up the tire just enough so you can turn it. That way you can check if it's trying to turn your axle and so forth when you get done. So the first thing in doing this is getting off these Torx screws here, and they are T25. Now, I would try breaking these loose by hand first with just a ratchet. Sometimes they can get corroded and you end up snapping them off or whatever. So I've already broken them loose with a ratchet, but we'll go ahead and zip them out. So much for that. And this should pull off. And there's a rubber O-ring in there. There you go. There's that seal, and there's a spring in there. That all comes out. Set that aside, and you might get a shop rag. Now, the next thing, which I forgot to get any on those pliers. The next thing you're going to have, there's a little flat looking kind of clip right here. You're going to want to grab him, and he just pulls off. And then there's a clip in there. I don't know if you can see that or not. I'll try to. Let's see here. Right there. There's a wire part. One end is there, one end is there, and it squeezes together. And it can be kind of tricky, but get in there and actually, if I had some smaller needle nose, it might work a little bit better, but we'll see if we can get it with these. One. Little bastard. Got a variety of picks over here too that may come in handy. So then you close that together, and then this whole thing pulls out, just like that, and it's a mess. So whatever. So that's how that comes out. I'll just set it down right here. Where did my rags go? Okay. Then after you get that done, I'm going to try to lower you down just a little bit, see if you can get in there a little bit closer. I'm going to shut you off here. I'll be right back. Okay, trying to get more situated here so you can have a look at what I'm doing. If you look real close, and I can't get a light here to, maybe I can. Let's see. Okay, if you look real close, right at the end of my pick, right, I'll use this little one just to point it out. There's a C-clip in there, and there's one end of it right there. I don't know if I can make it move or not, but you'll need to get in there probably with a couple of picks, and you need to get that C-clip out of there. So I'm going to put you back on the tripod, and I'll get that C-clip out, show you what it looks like, and then we'll move on to the next step. So I'm not sure how much of this you're actually going to be able to see. I'll do my best to. All I'm doing though is removing that C-clip, and you just got to get on each end of it and pop it down. I did manage to turn it a little bit, so one end of it's right over here. I don't know if that's going to work. I have to get a different kind of a pick here. Let's see. Not very big, but I'll try this one. I don't know if that's going to work either. But then get on the other end of it over here, and basically you just got to pop it off of there one way or another. And I've got it popped down enough where I think, there it is, right there. And that is what that looks like. If you can, it's just a C-clip. Once you get that out, then there's a little spacer in here. Now this spacer, well, this one isn't going to be bad. Got a couple little picks. I don't have, well, let's see. Aha! And it's splined, so it needs to come pretty much straight out. Which sometimes it can be stubborn, like everything else. Well, I thought maybe they're not splined. I thought it was splined. Hold on, we'll get her. Never fear, we'll get the bastard. Am I missing something? I don't think I'm missing anything. Yeah, it is. It is spline. And where that clip was, then it wants to turn, so then you need to get it lined back up with these outside splines. So it can be a little bit of a booger to get out, but we'll get it. You just gotta keep fucking with it. There we go. And that's what that looks like right there. Get rid of that. You're not going to be reusing any of those parts. And after that, let's see, was there anything? I think there's a spacer in there. Or maybe there's not. Shit, now I don't remember. No, there's not. I believe that's all you have to do. So I'm going to shut you off here just for a second and I will be right back. So I got my parts now. And right as they come out of the box, that's how they are, just like that. One end has a snap ring on it. That's the end that goes to the inside. And the way these work, if you want to know how your four-wheel drive works, probably scare you. Right now, let's see if you can see that. That's free spin. See that inside turns? When you turn your little dial on the outside, all that does is push this outside gear in, and it locks it together. That's all it does. Pretty simple. Now it says right in the instructions, some of you are probably going, you got to grease that up. It says in the instructions, these are greased. Do not add any grease. It's all internally and it's greased as much as it needs, I guess. Plus, there's enough frickin' grease inside of that to, I think that's fine. So anyway, just slide these on like so. Let's see, you gotta line it up. How is that? Now, shit, how does that work? That's only going in. Well, I just learned something that I didn't know, and maybe it doesn't happen all the time, but evidently when I jacked it up, it moves the axle shaft just enough to where I couldn't get this in the hub. So, but once I let it down on the jack, it went right in. So all you do now is you take this and you slide her in there like so. You're lined up. Push her on in, and then get you off of here one more time. Okay, now there's going to be, I'm gonna turn this so I can see what I'm pointing at. This other halogen light I got down here really isn't doing much good. There's a groove on your axle shaft right where the end of my pick is. Right, get this out of here. See if that makes things better. There's a groove right where the end of my pick is. And that is where your snap ring is going to go. That's where that snap ring right there goes. So I'm going to put you back up on the tripod here. And I'm going to get that snap ring in there. Where'd my snap ring pliers go? There. So, let's get that on there. Like so. Actually feels like there should be two snap rings in there to me, but. And then there's a groove, and I don't even know if you can see it if I bring the camera in. Remember when I took when I took that first inner hub assembly out and I took this part out, well, now you're putting this part in. And there's a groove right inside there where that old part used to fit, and that's where this goes. So all you do, start with an open end and get it in that groove, if you can, and then work your way around and press it in that groove. Just press it in. And you should hear it snap in there when I, maybe not. There we go. And there you go. Now, one thing I would do is I would take one of your old screws. Maybe they don't fit. Yeah, take one of your old screws. Take two of them. Put them 180 degrees across from each other. Try to pull that out. Now, a little bit of play like that is okay. At least that's what the instructions say. So then all you do next is your cap goes on. And that's got a little O-ring right around the outside of it there, so I'm going to smear just a little bit of grease on that. Just enough to help situate it. Like so. And then this fits in there. Now you're gonna have to get your holes lined up, so just kind of eyeball where your holes are and then get those lined up. I wouldn't press it in too hard yet. It might actually even fall out of there. And open up your little bag of goodies here. Should have done before I started the video, but I didn't. Yeah, these are Allen head. That about fell off, didn't it? So let's get all your Allen screws started in there. And I'll go ahead and tighten them down, I guess, since they gave me the little tool here and since we're almost done. I think they even give you a torque spec somewhere. And I would use a star pattern when you're doing this and not do them very tight. Just barely get them going. So they're starting to pull it in and then move on to the next one. Now when you put these caps on, make sure you've got it in the free position or you're going to be fighting that spring. You'll find out real quick you've got it in the wrong position. And then just, if you do, just turn it to free and it'll be considerably easier. Probably give you this little tiny wrench so you can't over tighten them because it ain't very strong, that's for sure. But you don't want to strip them out, that's for sure. And there you go. You got one manual hub installed. Now, just to be sure, I'm going to jack this tire up. Jack this wheel up just a little bit. Okay. Okay, now it should free spin. Let's see, how am I going to show you this? Let's see. Now, and then when I turn it to lock, which is this way, there. That's actually locked in. Didn't think it was there for a minute. Here, I'll show you what it's doing. What's going on is, when I turn it to free, which is about a full turn, we'll spin it. Darn tires are kind of hard to spin right now because I just got done doing some brake work on this. Now if you get under here, bear with me, I'm going to lay down here on the floor. Okay, see the drive shaft? I think you see it, let's see, yeah. See the drive shaft there? I can turn the wheel and nothing. Okay, come out here. Can't see what I'm looking at very good. Okay, lock that in, and it takes almost a full turn to lock it in. So now it's locked in. Now, when you go to turn the wheel, or turn the tire, let's see, where's the drive shaft at? Okay, there it is. Now, it's turning the drive shaft. So when you engage it into four-wheel drive inside the truck, it's going to, it'll be in four-wheel drive. Now the other side is still free spinning, of course, because I haven't put that hub in yet, but. And then to disengage it, you just come out here, unlock it, like that. If you watch the drive shaft again, unlocked. Now I'm not sure on these, I didn't think you'd have to go forward or backwards. I'm going to lock it in. Okay, that's locked in. Okay, instantly starts turning. Okay, so if you stop, you unlock them. If I turn the tire forward again, looks like they're still locked. They're still in. They must unlock when you back up. Let's see. When you back up. Must be when you back up. Yep, just a little bit. So you must have to back up with these just a smidge. I don't think you have to do that with the Warns. I'm not 100% sure on that. Could be. But it doesn't really make any difference. But anyway, that is how you install a mile marker manual locking hub. This is a 94 F-150, and it had the I don't even know where the hell I put it. Had the five hole, 3-hole. When we were inside there, there was a big axle nut in there, which requires this here socket, I believe, which is a let's see, 2 3/8 socket, axle socket, spindle nut socket. Pretty sure that's what this is for. I don't have any other trucks that it would go to, so pretty sure that's what that's for. And what comes in the kit is a different axle nut and washer, I believe, but you need this special kind of socket in order to get that axle nut off. And you can pick these up. I think any automotive store would have these. I don't know what they cost. I've had this forever, but that's what that takes. So anyway, that, my friends, is how you install a manual hub on a probably all the way back to early, I don't know how far back that would go. I don't know when they first started making automatic hubs. I know anyway on the 92 through 96s, that's how you do it. 92 through 94, anything with a 5-bolt, that's exactly how you do it. And then, like I just said, on the 3-bolt. So if you have any questions, comment down below and I'll try to answer them for you. If you like this, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.